Hi guys, Aceface back with another video, and this is another batrep, and I've got the Tyranids out, and this is my second game against Nick, Mr. IDIC, the legend, and after the game I played against Eldar, if you haven't seen it already, please do jump on the link that I'll put down below and jump on and watch that. It was a wicked game against my demons. I'm now playing Nick's Necrons, and this is his Flayed One list, the famous Flayed One list. So yeah, I'm going to have a quick look through at Nick's list, and then we'll have a quick look at mine, and then we'll go from there. So he's got 3 big units of 20 Flayed Ones, and 1 unit still yet to appear via Deep Strike. We've got a ton of Scarabs, we've got Wraiths and a Destroyer Lord, absolute horrible. We've got some Warriors back here sitting on objectives, and we've got, is it an Imatech. So we've got Imatech back there. So we're playing the Scarum. So we could go through the objectives. So we've got 2 here and a 3 in these ruins here. We've got 2 up on there and a 3 here. We've got over here we have a 4 and then a 1 there. So quite well spread. Points pretty even. So let's have a quick look at the Tyranid list. So you would have seen sort of quite a lot of these guys recently. So I'm using the Skyblight formation. So that is the Hive Tyrant with 2 Harpies and a Hive Crone. And the Hive Tyrant, of course, has got Twin Link Devourers. The Harpies are both kitted out with Strangleform Cannons and Cluster Spines, even though one of them is modelled with a Venom Cannon, but that's how we're going with that. And then 30 Gargoyles, 10 are on the board, 20 more to come in. I've got 3 Ripper bases to come in via Deep Strike, they've got Tunnel, and I've got Warriors, 3 Warriors just with Devourers sitting, hiding over there. And then the main event, the first outing for the Imperial Nightmare, I've decided to call him. So this is my Imperial Knight conversion. Very pleased with how he's come out, and it should be awesome to see him in action. So, and then the newest recruit of Hive Fleet Voro is my Vindicate Assassin, or Hive Stalker as I like to call him, just ultimate cheese. So we'll see how this guy gets on. So these are, he is a formation, and this is an allied guy as the knight. So a lot of cheesiness going on. Apologies, Nick, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. And it is Nick going first. I failed to seize initiative, so good luck, Nick, and let's have a look again. So bottom of Necron turn 1. Good turn for Necrons. They've come in masses, marching forward. They roll pretty well in their run moves, so they are really up in my face already. But the highlight of the turn for Necrons by far was old Imatech there with his lightning bolts, cheesy as hell, and absolutely got stroke lucky on them, because both the Crone and the Harpy took an absolute hammering for him. Both of them are just down to 2 wounds now, so that was vicious as anything, and that stung quite a lot. So an eventful turn, seeing that Nick doesn't have a lot of shooting, so that was quite frightening. But now we can see what we can do, see if we can put the hurt on as we go into Tyranid turn 1. So bottom of Tyranid turn 1, not a great turn for Tyranids. Did what I kind of needed to. Everything came up, flew up, all in swooping, and we targeted the big unit of Flayed Ones in the middle. I was lucky because actually Nick and myself both forgot about night fighting, so potentially there might have been 1 or 2 left. I did overkill them, but they would have had a much better save. But managed to finish them all off, first blood, and took a wound off the Destroyer Lord there, which is pretty handy. Everything else did pretty poorly. The Knight did awful. He tried to take out the Scarabs, but failed miserably, scattered miles off. And the Assassin over in the corner with almost an impossible to miss 2+ to hit with a reroll of 4. Could not get his shot on Imatech at the back. so that was disappointing as well. So not a terrible turn, but definitely all to play for as we go into Necron turn 2. So bottom of Necron turn 2, a more or less uneventful turn with the exception of one thing. Yet again, Imatech and that damn lightning bolts really took a hammer into the Nids. So he hit 3 flying monstrous creatures, hit the Hive Tyrant Warlord and the Harpy as well as the other Harpy. Thankfully nothing died. The Warlord took all his saves, so no problem there. The Harpy that had already taken a bash in the turn before went down to 1 wound, and the other Harpy is down to 2 wounds. So it is really hurting me at the moment. Thankfully a lot of the other stuff went my way. The Scarabs that were amassing to charge the Imperial Nightmare failed their charge, which was very handy. And over here the Scarabs and the Wraiths, where the Wraiths are in fact almost on top of the Gargoyles, Nick rolled double one. So the Gargoyles got away with it for a turn, which does help me out quite a lot, but that's still a dangerous turn, seeing in that Nick has almost no shooting and I'm sort of at half strength as far as wounds on flying monstrous creatures. So we'll see what I can do as we go into Tyranid turn 2. Okay, so end of Tyranid turn 2. The flying monstrous creatures continue to make their ascent on the Imatech at the front there. Everything flew up and everything mass shot at him, but a combination of night fights and hiding in the ruins, going to ground and all sorts of other shenanigans. The Immortals pretty much shrugged off loads of shooting, and with a bit of I'll be back rolls there, they only lost 2 in the end. So really frustrating there. The Nid Knight carried on forward. He put his blast on the Scarabs, and with a combination of that and the Hive Crone who flamed them, and then the Knight assaulted them, took out the last of those, and now we're turning around to concentrate on those flayed ones. Over here the Gargoyles kind of jump back a bit because they know what's coming, and those Wraiths are looking scary, so jump back, made sure they were in synapse range of the Warriors, and kind of took a few pot shots, took a wound off the Wraiths, but not a great deal. Back in this corner, the little assassin shot at the Destroyer Lord and took a wound off him, so he's just about still in the game, but that's the first thing the assassin's done, so at least he's shown up for the game now. So we'll see whether that lightning strikes again, quite literally, and see if I can get through another turn with a few monstrous creatures as we go into Necron turn 3. Right, so end of Necron turn 3, the flayed ones came in there. The Immortals made the Harpy jink, so he won't be able to do a lot next turn. He didn't take any wounds off him, so he's still on 2. All the Hive Tyrants still on full strength. Over here, the 2 units of Warriors opened fire on the Harpy and Hive Crone. The Hive Crone was fine, but the Harpy on 1 wound, even with full no pain, went down and got killed by that first unit. The Destroyer Lord separated from the flayed ones. He's on a 1-man mission to try and take out that assassin. Good luck there, because he's probably going to be a dead man by the end of next turn, but we'll see. The Scarabs scuttle forward and they assaulted the unit of Gargoyles. Managed to just about hang in there with 1 left, and they're held by the Synapse of the Warriors at the back. Managed to blind the Scarabs, so that's a little bit helpful, but we'll see how that gets on. And then the Wraiths made their advance round here and got to the Knight. They assaulted him, couldn't do any damage massively. They did manage to take off one hull point, which wasn't too bad, when the Knight then turned around and smashed out most of the unit. There is 2 left, so he's not out of the woods just yet. With a combination of his stomp and his D weapon, he made short work of most of them, but he's still held up for now as we go into Tyranid turn 3. Right, so bottom of Tyranid turn 3. So the gargoyles came in, or should I say they didn't come in. Tried to get them in on this sort of spot here, because it was about the only big sort of space that I could find, and also wanted them to deal with the destroyer lord that was on his way to my assassin. But I massively scattered off the board and rolled a 1, so they're destroyed, and I couldn't make my 4+ roll to get them back to life either, so those gargoyles never got on, which is a bit disappointing. But apart from that, a really good turn. So the Flying Hive Tyrants all came to the ground. There's a bit of a risk, but it paid off. In the psychic phase, they all used their psychic scream into the Immortals unit with the Warlord. The psychic screams didn't do that great until we got to the last one, who rolled fantastically well, and that took out pretty much everybody. It took out all the Immortals and Imhotep. Imhotep made his first reanimation, got back up on full wounds, and then the Tyrants just pumped all their Devourer shots into him, and he just went down. On his next reanimation, failed, so he went down. So that was Slay the Warlord. So it'll be interesting now to see what these Flayed Ones do against these 3 flying monstrous creatures that have just come down. So that should be an interesting little thing. Over here, the Hive Crone carried on flying along. He flamed one of the units of warriors and put a couple of tentaclids into them. Didn't manage to take them all out with the flamer, so they a couple of them stood back up. So they're doing not too bad. The other warriors are fine. The harpy that was very badly damaged and was snap shooting, he flew off the board, going back into ongoing reserve. Over here, the knight, he carried on hacking away at the wraiths. The wraiths, to be fair, were very unlucky. They rolled atrociously bad, didn't do anything to him at all, so he's just got 1 wraith to chew through, and then he's free to wander around again. Over here, the warriors, I really wonder what to do, but in the end I thought we'll go for it while they're blinded. So the warriors attacked the scarabs, and so did the swarms of rippers. They all jumped in there and took advantage of the poor weapon skill. Took out a few of the bases, but we're held up here, and the scarabs are no longer blinded anymore. My assassin, this guy, he did do what he should do, and he dealt quite quickly with the destroyer lord, and the destroyer lord didn't manage to get up, so he's kind of done his work for the day after fluffing his first shot on Imhotep, but he's paid for himself. So that's the end of Tyranid turn 3, and if we go into Necron turn 4. So end of Necron turn 4, actually probably a better turn for me than the Necrons. The Flayed Ones really had a go. They saw all 3 of the Hive Tyrants down on the ground, and it was their opportunity to shine, so both of them charged in. They had 1 unit charge the Hive Tyrant over there, and then the other 1 unit charged the Warlord Hive Tyrant. They did okay, tons and tons of attacks, but didn't manage to wound enough to cause enough damage. This one was untouched, but even after taking out a couple of the Flayed Ones, Nick made his leadership on those, so they stay locked in. The other one pretty much did the same amount of damage. The Flayed Ones actually took a wound off the Warlord, even with his Feel No Pain. But after winning sort of a bit more convincingly, he failed his leadership test, and the Hive Tyrant finished him off by sweeping advance. The Midnight over here, he finished off the last Wraith, and he's kind of marching on. The Hive Crone was rapid fired to death, but managed to get lucky with my Feel No Pain rolls, and he's still on 2 wounds left. And over in the far corner over there, the continuing battle between the scarabs and the warriors and the gargoyle and the Ripper Swarm kind of carried on going. The scarabs did alright this time. Now they weren't blinded before the turn. They took out 2 of the Ripper bases and took all the saves and a wound off the warriors. The gargoyle seems to be riding his luck. He's still in there and lost a few of the scarabs, but that battle carries on there as we go into Tyranid turn 4. So at the end of Tyranid turn 4, The Hive Tyrants all assaulted the Flay ones, took a few wounds, but they managed to hold. The other Hive Tyrant and the Hive Crone had a go on the Warriors, and they took out most of them. One of the unit went, and there's 2 standing there. The Knight also had a go to see if he could try and take them out, but messed up on his rolls again. The Gargoyles mishapped, but Nick placed them there because it's his choice where to put them. The Harpy came in from ongoing reserve, and he's just flying on there, hopefully to drop down and claim that objective. The Warriors and the Scarabs all still fighting over there. Nothing's really happening, they're just sort of slowly but surely whittling each other down. And that's more or less it. We go into Necron turn 5. So at the end of turn 5, we both played out turn 5, and overall it is a Nids victory. It kind of all came together. Second part of the battle. At first, it was looking a bit shaky for Tyranids. The night fight with the lightning coming from Imhotep was really causing a lot of grief. Once that storm was weathered, quite literally, Nids started to button it up, and in the end it looks a lot easier than it actually was for the first part of the game. So in the last turn, the Hive Tyrant joined the fight along with the Nightmare Titan, and it jumped in there and finished off the flayed ones. Just barely, we run them down, and then over here the Hive Crone came in to attack the last of the Warriors, but the Warriors still stood firm. So there was one warrior down there just fighting off the Hive Crone. Up in the corner, probably one of the most boring, most miserable combats ever, carries on. The Scarabs hang in there, and they are beating off these warriors and the Gargoyle slowly but surely. Nick tactically has made sure that he hasn't killed that last Gargoyle now for about 5 turns, so I cannot get my regen Gargoyles, but they're hanging in there. So I mean, overall, I kind of cleaned up on objectives, but as I said, it was very, very lucky early doors. So thanks very much, Nick. Much appreciated for the game.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming down.
No problem at all. And highlights for you of the game?
The highlight for me, which is I had great fun actually, and although I lost both games, didn't feel like I lost because I just had a great time. So that's what I enjoyed the most. Yeah.
So well, thank you for putting up with my cheesy lists anyway. And until next time, please do like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.